Hey everyone, it's Mishta, and I want to share some more of my madness. Before I start, I want to say a big thank you for L'Oreal. I don't know if you can see it, but it's cobalt blue eyeliner and mascara. And just in case I get emotional and cry it off, I want to appreciate it beforehand. And just say thank you, L'Oreal. It matches my hair perfectly, and I love it. Okay, enough said about that. Today I want to talk about something pretty serious, and it's depression. And it touches a lot of us, as far as a lot of us experience it at one time or another. Some more than others. Some of us have uh, it come on after a traumatic experience or something like an illness happens or whatever, and some of us just have it all our whole lives for whatever reason. And I've been one of those people that had it my whole life. And I try to say had because I try not to own it and and say it's mine. But I experience depression sometimes, and I try to work through it. I One of the best things I ever did was get a counselor, and it really helped me a lot. I've had quite a few my whole life. I um, I think I've had counselors since I was preteen, actually. But I think that throughout my whole life, they've helped with all the situations I've gone through. And I guess the lighting isn't fixed. There we go. With all the things that I've gone through, I think that it's helped me a whole lot. Being able to have someone that's knowledgeable about specific things, like divorce or illness or death or just depression, just in general, or even anxiety, and that can it doesn't go well, but you can have both, and I have both a lot, and it's a hard thing to talk about, and it's a hard thing to explain to someone else that doesn't know what it's like, because it doesn't matter if like so many things could be going right in your life and everything could be going great even, and you still will go, why am I depressed? Why am I finding it hard to get out of bed? Why am I fighting crying all day? And why does it seem like I'm making everything seem down and depressed about stuff? And it's weird. It's really hard to explain. And I know I've had a long time living with it, and I'm sure been rough on my kids when my kids bring it up that you're doing that, mom. You're making everything seem down. It's like, yep, I have to realize that I'm doing that, and I have to go, okay, I have to work hard at changing the way I'm thinking about things, and work super hard about changing the way I think about myself. And it's one of the hardest things that I've ever had to do in life. And I mean, it's so much easier to talk to someone else about it and to tell someone else the things they should do than it is to actually do it. It sounds crazy, but it is. It's like every day I have to talk myself into making sure I'm more motivated than discouraged. And I have to try to find all of the cool little things in life instead of just thinking, okay, everything, no matter what. I mean, even about a good thing, I still have to find extra good things about it sometimes, and to try to appreciate it more. And sometimes it's so hard. It's really super hard to find that way to appreciate things in life, even though, you have so much to appreciate it. And it's so hard to explain. I don't know if I'm doing a good job at this. I really am not. I don't. I. It's easier to talk to a counselor that kind of knows what's up than it is to talk to a group of people that you don't know if they understand, what you're saying or not. And it's really, it's a really hard thing to explain, and it's a really hard thing to talk about. And I try to keep a smile on my face right now because I'm really trying to not get emotional and not get overwhelmed with, you know, going off on tangents or whatever, and just be overwhelmed with emotions and not be able to explain it. And I think that's one of the hardest things sometimes is to be able to keep articulate about it and keep focused and have keep trying to have I don't know, a clear definition about it. It's because it's not always a clear definition. I mean, it can happen to anybody and it can happen at any time. It really can. And and it's a huge deal. It really is. It's a big deal to not be able to understand or be able to communicate, why you can't, why you don't want to go out with your friends and do fun stuff, or why you want to just, you know, sit at home, or why you can't, focus at work well, or why you can't stop crying all the time and stuff like that. It's really hard to explain to somebody else that that kind of stuff can happen, and like a lot of times my anxiety will bring that out in me, and then I'll be so anxious and stressed that it'll bring out my depression part, and I'll start just bringing everything down. Like everything started okay, and I'm doing this task, and stuff starts fumbling, and I start having trouble with it, and then I get all anxious and freaked out. And if I don't calm myself down and just tell myself, hey, it's okay to have frustrations and not get overstressed about it, I see myself going into like this big snowball of emotions and getting depressed and bringing it all down. And it's so weird how anxiety can so easily turn into like depression or just self doubt and self. Uh, it's so weird. It's so hard to explain. It's um yeah, it's like you don't think that you're good enough, and you think you're just unqualified not to, and you weren't meant to be where you're at. And it's so hard to, because you work so hard to get somewhere, and something will happen, and it could be something super stupid, like super silly, like you just are frustrated with editing. And I'll use that as an example because I've had trouble with that lately. And my son will come out, and it's so easy for him, and I'll get so down on myself and be so frustrated with myself and upset with myself that I start doubting everything. And it's so hard to to not do that, and to not let that expand and snowball into that depression type situation or that feeling. And it's so hard. And I know sometimes you can't even explain why it comes on. Like at least then I know I can explain why it's coming on. My anxiety is creating all this freaked out stuff, and then it comes on, and it comes out as being upset with myself and depressed. Well, and then that can expand. So it's really hard to not let that happen. And it's also really hard that you just have those days sometimes where you don't even know why you feel that way. Just all day you feel that way. And I've had a few days here and there, and I think it's because I'm trying to take on all these little goals to achieve these bigger goals. And it's one of the little tricks my counselor, my latest counselor, has been teaching me to be able to feel more self-confident, is to have little goals that lead up to a bigger goal. And each time you complete one of these littler tasks, it's like, you're achieving something great, and you are. And then you get to achieve the big great at the end, and that's even cooler. And so I'm in the middle, maybe in the middle bottom, the middle bottom half or something, where I'm trying to achieve all these little goals. Like I'm trying to achieve getting my GED or my high school equivalency, and be able to have a diploma, and I can get better jobs and take college classes. And it's so hard because I don't know algebra. I don't know freaking linear equations. Holy crap, I have not done that stuff in 30 years. And so it's so crazy having to go back and learn all this and relearn it all, and fractions and decimals and negative and positive numbers, and oh my goodness, you don't even know. I don't like math. I'm not good at it. So it's like, and there's so much of it that kind of just doesn't make sense to me, and so it's like so weird having to go back and learn it all. It's so hard not to get like frustrated and upset with myself, but at the same time, I feel like I need to push myself so I can achieve these goals and have these cool things happen for me in life. And it's so weird how depression and anxiety and all of these kind of things can work and how they can affect your life. I mean, they can really affect your whole world. And you really got to work at not letting them. And and if you do, hopefully you have people around you that are accepting of the fact that there might be some days that you have to deal with that and that you're trying not to. And hopefully they see that and hopefully they understand and they're there for you. And they're not just like, oh, shrug it off, it'll go away eventually. And, you know, like I feel bad sometimes when I tell my daughter that she's really got to try to work through it because sometimes you're in a situation where you can't just, you know, run off and leave and you have to just deal and or else you could get fired or you can get hurt or you can have something go on, and so you have to have techniques of being able to maybe not turn it off instantly but to be able to work through it a little bit so where you can still function enough to be able to get through the day and still be able to like reach out for help later or reach out for help that day, whatever you need to do. You need to be able to just try to either you know figure out how to be able to deal with it and work through it and know that it will pass. It's not going to be there forever. And there's like very few things in life that are forever. And even if it's a forever thing, like, oh, I have HIV. Yeah, probably have it forever until I die unless they find a cure. Oh, well, find a better way to look at it. Like, yeah, I might have HIV, but you know what? I'm undetectable. I can't give it to anyone. I can have a real relationship. I've had 2 kids and they're both negative. Psh, that ain't nothing no more. It's and that but it's hard to overcome that every day. Every day you got to tell yourself this. Every day you got to keep doing the same things and over and over and keep bringing yourself back up to that point of, okay, I can do this, and I can get through this day, and keep trying to get through that day. And all I can say is it doesn't last forever, and eventually your your brain does let you work in some of that light, and it especially if you find the tools to help yourself do that, and you have the people around you that understand and know that sometimes an encouraging word like, oh, it's okay if you don't want to go out today, I understand, you know I'm here for you if you want to talk, or I'm here for you, you need a hug, or even just go hug them. you know, Having that is so important, even if it doesn't seem like we appreciate it at the time. It's so important. It's phenomenal. You don't even know. It's like it's hard to put into words how important having that support system is, and also remembering that you can reach out to people. You can reach out to others that are in groups or online or a suicide hotline, or there's some places that I saw online. There's some people that are famous that have put up, posts about depression. And just, you can see and you can understand that there's a lot of places out there you can reach out, and it's so important to just do that. Pick up the phone, text, call. I mean, there's text suicide lines now. There's all kinds of stuff that you can call. I mean, I believe that there's apps that you can have as a therapist, and I don't know how good they are, but I mean, if it says they're certified therapist and you're paying for a certified therapist, then they should be good, you know? and and a lot of times you just need to find the right one that works with you, though. Don't think that, oh my God, the first one's going to be the best one. It doesn't work like that always. It has to be somebody that can work with the kind of person you are too. It it's hard to find that person sometimes. And believe me, when I was a teenager, it was so hard. Everyone thought I was crazy because I wanted to wear my hair like this and I wanted to be my own person. And they were like, no, you don't want to do that. That's going to be horrible on you. And I was like, it's not horrible on me. It's only horrible because you think it's horrible. So, but what I'm trying to say is that it is super hard to have this affect you a lot or even a little, and it's super hard to be able to push through. I'm trying to keep this as non-emotional as I can because it is a big deal. It is important. It is hard to talk to somebody. It is hard to reach out to people, and you have no idea until you reach out for somebody. You don't know if they're going to be able to be there for you or not. And if somebody does say, just get over it. It's no big deal. You'll work through it. Blah blah blah. It's just because they don't understand. You don't have to not be their friend anymore. You don't have to just give up on them. They just don't understand. And maybe if you talk to them later on when you're able to, and you can, just mention it without getting all upset or going up and twirling in a ball. Maybe if you can bring it up on a regular base, in a regular conversation, and be like, hey, this is what I experience. If it's awkward for you, it's all good. I understand. You know, and please understand, I'm trying to deal with it each day, and it's really hard. And maybe they'll understand. And if they don't, then they don't. Maybe maybe it's not going to be that kind of friendship. But if they do, maybe you found somebody that is can be part of your support group and part of the people that if you need to call them. You know, it's just like in AA and NA, they end up being having sponsors because they want you to have someone to call. Because you need to have that person to reach out to. And it's important. Everybody needs somebody like that, no matter what they're going through, whether it's addiction or emotional stuff or physical stuff. It doesn't matter what stuff, life stuff, good stuff, bad stuff, doesn't matter. If you're going through stuff, and everybody has stuff because life is full of stuff, you know, so if all you can do is just remember it doesn't last forever, and just try to keep that in mind. It doesn't last forever, and all you can do is just try to work through it, and don't give up, and and reach out to anybody that you can, whether it be online or phone or whatever. Just really, it's important to know that you can reach out. You're not alone, and there's so many others of us that are out there, and so many of us that are willing to talk about it now, and there's still so many more that aren't even ready to think about it or talk about it. And it's okay. It's okay because you're not alone. You're still not alone. So I hope this helps anybody out there. I mean, it's been super hard for me to be able to talk about this. I've done this video like 4 times now. I only had to redo it once because of technical difficulties, but the other 3 times have all been because I got too emotional, or I went off track too much, or it wasn't right. And I just wanted to be able to share with people some of my experiences and some of the things that my counselor has been telling me what's important and what's helped me get to a point where I'm thriving instead of just surviving in life. And that's emotionally as well as physically. And emotionally, I'm thriving instead of just surviving and being on edge and not being in a good, healthy lifestyle and a good, healthy, emotional well being with myself. It's really hard to work on that and to get rid of toxic relationships and to work on yourself and work on your miscomings and your bad habits and your stupid things that you know, just whatever. It's really hard to work on these things that are about you. And it's really hard to acknowledge them sometimes, but we all have them and we all can get too inside ourselves and not see them. And a lot of times it's good to be able to have somebody else to talk to that can go, well, you know, you're bringing this on yourself, or, you know, there's ways that you can work through this, and you can always call me extra times in the week, or, you know, all kinds of stuff, all kinds of ways to help get you through it. You know, ways of just not being alone, or, you know, tools to work through it, or little goals that lead up to bigger goals that help you get through everything in life. And I don't know, just so many ways that I've learned from so many different therapists along the way, and just tools to work through PTSD and anxiety and depression. And it's super hard to explain to anyone that hasn't gone through any of this that it is all real and it is a big, huge thing. And it is something that you have to have tools to work through. And it is something that you have to fight every day. And it's so crazy, but at the same time it's not crazy, it's normal. And I don't know, it's really hard to explain, but I hope that some of my sharing is helping anyone else out there. And so just remember, take a deep breath and know you're not alone, and reach out to people. And there's a lot of places you could call and talk to people, and or go online and talk to people, and it really helps. So just know it will pass, and you can get through it, and you're not alone, and we're here for you, and you're definitely not alone. We're all here too. So I hope this helps somebody out there, because I really care about people, and I want to help. And I hope this can help somebody besides just me talking about it. So thank you for watching, and I hope you all have a peaceful day. And remember, you're not alone.